Is your finance function running on outdated systems, facing constant staffing gaps and struggling to keep pace? Stuck in never-ending reconciliations and Excel work? Imagine how different everything could be if you nailed the essential foundations: people, capabilities, systems, and culture. This is where real transformation begins. Welcome to the next video from the series of Phoenix Finance. I'm here to show finance professionals how to move from reactive to truly strategic. If you've ever felt stuck, tangled in a web of spreadsheets and endless reconciliations, it's time to break free. Today we'll focus on foundations, the indispensable elements underpinning every top finance function. Forget old stereotypes. Finance can be the catalyst for growth and innovation, but first you have to set the groundwork. Maybe it sounds awfully familiar to you. Picture this: a finance department drowning in manual reports and data errors. Burnout is high, morale is low, and no one trusts the numbers. Now imagine flipping that script with engaged teams, automated processes, and rock-solid data integrity. Sounds impossible? It's not, once you shore up your foundations. Foundations are your bedrock: people, capabilities, systems, and compliance. Think of them as the oxygen that keeps your entire operation alive. No matter which level you focus on, you'll need strong foundations to maintain stability. For example, it's impossible to build a data-driven decision culture if your core systems are outdated or your team lacks essential analytic skills. But above all, it all starts with people and culture. It's impossible to build a high-performing team if you are missing on the right mindset, attitude, and structure. It's also very likely that no matter at which level of the framework you're on, you will want to work concurrently on foundations as well. So let's dive into those then. It all starts with people. I divide this area into organizational structure, culture and engagement, and talent pipeline. They are the cornerstone of the performance of your team. In this area, the most critical questions are the following. First of all, is everyone clear on what their role is? But remember, according to them, not you. It's very easy to become blindsided here. Then, is your team engaged? Most probably, you have some level of satisfaction or engagement survey in the company. What are its results for your function? What are the most burning areas to address? And finally, both from the point of view of your team's ambition and career progression, as well as your peace of mind, are you clear on what are your most critical roles and who would fill that role in case of resignation or promotion? A finance function is only as strong as its people, supported by clear goals and a sense of purpose. Capabilities. This area is very closely related to people, but I like to differentiate it from the previous one. Here I'm focusing less on the people processes and more on the attitude and the mindset of your team. I divide this area into mindset, performance management, and leadership fundamentals. First of all, how satisfied are you with the attitude of your team? Are they engaged and open to change and focused on the solutions? Or do you hear often, "We've always done this way," or "I know what I'm doing," way too often? Shaping this area is probably one of the most long-term oriented strategies. Remember one thing though, it's never too late to set the right tone. Especially if your company and structure are growing, the sooner you build the right culture, the easier it is going to be for you in the future. Improvement in this area can 10 times any area in the fundamentals. I strongly believe that with the right mindset of your team, they can fix a lot of issues in other areas too. With a wrong one, it will only exacerbate those issues. Linking to the mindset, do you execute right level of performance management? Unless you are in a small company, I'm sure you have a certain process run by HR, but that's not what I'm talking about. There is something more that is way more critical here. How is your team and you actually executing these processes? Is there a right level of regular feedback, at least quarterly, but ideally more regular, on the performance of your team? How transparent is it? Do your people know what the organization think of them? And it's aligned with the career progression that you're designing for them. Finally, again, closely linked but more strategic. How are your leadership fundamentals? This applies to you especially if you have a layer of managers below you. Remember one very critical point about leadership. Your true impact and leadership is cascaded and amplified by the quality of the leadership below you. What do I mean? If you have a layer of managers, most likely you will not have enough contact with the day-to-day of everyone in your team, and those are exactly your leaders that will shape them. And that's exactly dependent on your ability to develop and grow them. Finally, we can't talk foundations without addressing systems and data governance. If your finance data is scattered or your technology is clunky, you'll always be stuck reacting. I divide it into core systems, basic reporting, and data governance. On a side note, why are we talking about the compliance in systems? It's very simple. A lot of basic controls can be automated and set up through your core systems. Areas like spend approval or division of responsibilities or access matrix can go a long way before start talking about the actual processes. So the question is, are your systems reliable or do they need any enhancements? I will talk more about this area in the action steps later, but don't get overly focused on the implementation of the expensive tools. I know it might not be fully up to you, but almost always there are ways to upgrade or fine-tune your system architecture. Reporting is the phase of your systems, but also critical. The question here is as simple as, can you access in a simple way 100% reliable data at any time? The answer is most likely not and highly dependent on your core systems too. But here there's way more you can do when it comes to workarounds and visualization and reporting of the data. But that requires certain skills that your team might not have. So we are back to people and the right roles in the team and your strong synergy with the IT team. Finally, right level of data governance is a strong enabler for all the processes that are run in the organization. Very often overlooked and in many cases number one root cause of all your data problems. Yes, this area, not actual systems. You can have the most advanced systems in the world, but if your business, not IT, doesn't own the quality of the data, you will never be able to do much. It's critical that you have business ownership over this data, especially customer, product, and vendor master data, most of which your team is highly reliant upon. Together, these pillars form a stable platform for every level of finance maturity. Overlooking any one of them can stunt your growth, or worse, derail your function altogether. Hey, if you resonate with the way I look at finance and want to receive more regular guidance and tips, don't forget to subscribe to Phoenix channel. Yes, we are focused on personal development, and I strongly believe that to be a great leader, you need to ensure your development as well. On top of that, I'll be releasing more strategies on how to elevate each component of this framework on a regular basis. So stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll see you in the main video. So how do you strengthen your foundations? Start with a quick diagnostic. Map out the biggest gaps. Maybe it's role clarity or the need for a better reporting tool. Or maybe you are frustrated with the attitude and approach of your team and the culture is the primary focus. If you used our Finance Health Assessment Toolkit, it should help you narrow down which of these areas you need to tackle. If you don't have it, yet are ready to bring the real change to your finance function, in the description you will find the link to download our free toolkit. It's packed with the step-by-step guidance to help you assess where you stand right now and how to move forward. Let's make finance the strategic powerhouse it was meant to be. Plan the quick wins. Look for simple fixes. Maybe it's clarifying responsibilities, setting up short training sessions, or basics of data governance. One of the most critical parts in introducing the change in the organization, and therefore kicking off the transformation, is to show those quick wins. It helps you build momentum behind the more advanced strategies and initiatives that you will want to deploy and therefore warm up the resistance to change within your team. Invest in strategic improvements. Over time, prioritize bigger projects. Maybe it's team restructuring, core systems implementation, or upgrade like ERP or more advanced reporting tools. These tend to take more resources, namely time of your team and the actual money investment. Don't get too stuck in the expensive investment that might not be feasible in your case though. It might happen that simple data engineering fixes or a series of updates can already help you tackle those most burning areas. Reward innovation and continuous learning. Even small steps forward keep your team future ready and further help you implement the change. The journey of transformation always helps you identify who really wants to improve their job and who is just clocking in. When you have strong foundations, your finance team isn't stuck in the weeds. It's poised to drive business-wide impact. No more frantic, late nights verifying numbers. Instead, you'll be charting strategic directions and leading with confidence.